Okay, so welcome to today's class. My name is Jennifer and our chat facilitator is Heather. This is building your business with reference solutions. Now, I'm going to give a little caveat here because Reference Solutions used to be called Reference USA, and that has changed recently. So I apologize if I accidentally call it Ref USA or Reference USA in this class. It is now Reference Solutions. And before we begin, I need to let you know that about some ground rules we've set up. You'll be muted during this class and we have your video blocked. You will be seeing my screen. If you have any trouble with that, make sure you go down there to the bottom and there's a chat button. You can chat with us and let us know if there are any problems there. At the top of your screen under view options, you can find the option to exit the full screen if you need to get to other things on your computer. And you are welcome to ask questions as we go along. And those questions will be seen by me and Heather may answer your question in the chat box, and she might hold the questions to the end of the program, or she'll probably go ahead and ask the question while we are in that subject. If y'all have any questions now, just put that in the chat. We'll be happy to answer. And I don't see anything coming through, so let's get started. Okay, so this class is an introduction to the powerful tools in Reference Solutions. Now, Reference Solutions is a group of databases with detailed information on millions of businesses and consumers in the United States, which means you can go into Reference Solutions and create a targeted list of potential businesses or customers. And so I'm going to show you how to create that list. And there's just so much in this database that we're not going to have time to get to. And I want to encourage you to explore it further on your own after this class. Okay, so we're going to start off here at our website, planolibrary.org. That's where you will always start. You will come here to learn. Whoa, sorry, I hate when I do that. Okay, here to learn, and we'll go into that. Okay, let that pop up there. And down here, the first icon is research and learn. So we're going to go into that. Again, if you have any questions, please do ask us in the chat box so we can get everybody situated. Okay, so then the first section here is business. That's what we want to do. Sorry, the second section is business. We're going to click on that. And these are all of our business databases. We are dealing with Reference Solutions today. So we're going to come down to the second row here and go into Reference Solutions. We're just going to click on that right there. Okay, now, generally, when you're at home, it is going to ask you to sign in. So you will have to use your library card and you'll use the full library card number, no spaces between those numbers. And then it will also ask you to accept their conditions for using the databases. So you will have two other screens to go through. If you're using it here at the library, it would go straight through. Okay. Now, let's look and see what this is. If you'll notice up here at the top, it tells you that they're offering accurate information on 60 million businesses and about 300 million consumers. That is a lot. So what exactly is it going to, what exactly is the information it's going to give us? If you look here under US businesses, this database, under more information, it's going to tell you over here what US businesses has in it. You can also go over to the other one. So let's say for some reason you want to look at historical businesses. You can click on more information, and over here on the right, it's going to tell you what that particular database does. Or under consumers and lifestyles, it will tell you what that database does. Now we're going to start off here with US businesses. because that's the one that most people use who are using reference solutions. So what we're going to do, instead of actually going straight into it, we're going to come down to the bottom. This is something pretty new to them. They now allow for personal accounts. And you might be interested in doing this. In fact, I would encourage you to do this. What you want to do is you want to sign up. You're going to have to register for a personal account. You would put in your email address, create a password, all that good stuff, and you would create the account. I have already created an account, so I am, going to get into mine. Let me see if I got that. Okay, so what it does is it puts you into a different screen, but you'll be logged in, and you can actually go through and create the list through here. It's going to look a little different than it did on that first page that I showed you. US businesses is here rather than the other look that it had. But it has all of the same databases there. You just might have to look for it in a little bit of a different way. Consumers or the job section. So they basically have three main sections and they've split it up on this part. I'm not going to use that right now. We'll come back to that. I'm going to go ahead and sign out and we'll come back to this page, the main page. Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into US businesses, which is the one that most people will use. Okay. Let's say that you actually already know the company that you want to target. And if you already know, you can just use this quick search right here. We are going to use Highland Homes. And we know that they're in Texas. We actually know they're in Plano, but we're going to try Texas. And we're going to come over here and we're going to view our results. Okay, these are our results. Up here at the top, it tells us that we have 97 results. Well, that's a little bit much considering we kind of know where this company is, and we don't see it right off the bat. There are two different things that we can do. We could go through the whole list. Actually, there's three things, sorry. We could go through the whole list and go find Plano because we know we're looking for the one in Plano. Or we happen to also know that this is the headquarters here in Plano. So what we could do is we could come here to the corporate tree and just do the little up arrow, and it's going to lead us to the one in Plano that is the head company. And I'm just going to go back. Or we could have gone here to the little corporate tree, and it will show you the head company along with all their subsidiaries below. Okay, I'm just going to go back. So we could also actually technically go back and revise our search and put the city in, and then we'd get it that way. So there are many different choices on how to do this, but this is what we were doing. We just needed to get to the main company here. So we have the one here on democracy. And so we're going to just click on that because this is the company that you want to target and you want to sell something to them. So you're here and you can get the information you want about the company here. This is the detailed information. At the beginning, it'll give you all the location information. Then it does give you job listings. In this particular class, that's not relevant. So you can just collapse that over here on the side. It will give you an industry profile if you want to see what they do, which you probably already know. But if you already have a company that you know you want to sell to, you might want to grab this SIC code. That's going to come into play a little bit later. It'll give you the business profile, which the company supplies. It'll give you some business demographics. So this is where you can start seeing if this is the type of business you want to target. You might be interested in how many employees they have. You might be interested if this is a home business or not, or how many affiliate locations they might have. Corporate sales is generally important. So this is where you can get that information. Their management directory, if you're looking for some names for people to target. Okay, it will give you some company news, but realize this is for the whole company. So it might be telling you something about something that's happening up in like, I don't know, Kentucky, even though you're more interested in Texas. So that's just going to be just a big file of company news. And then business expenditures. They get general information on what these companies' expenditures are on various areas. So if you are selling them something to do with accounting, you might want a company that spends enough on accounting for you, or on advertising if you're trying to sell them advertising, or whatever your business might do. And that's where you'd want to look for that. Okay, and then down here, it does give some business history, but not a lot, just mainly who their executive has been for the past few years. I do like this down here at the bottom. They have this competitors report. So if you have something you're trying to sell to this company, you might also be interested in the competitors report, because those are other people who would have a similar business, and you can target them. So in this case, this is competitors to Highland Home. So it's other home construction companies. And it's just a nice little list right there. So that's another way to get to a nice list. Okay, if y'all have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat there. We can answer those. I am going to go back. Actually, what we're going to do now that we know what that quick search will give us, now we're going to do a new type of search. So I'm just going to click here on new search. That is at the bottom and at the top. So we're going to click new search. So that was quick search. But what you really want to do is an advanced search. That is where the power from this database comes from, this advanced search. Okay, so reference solutions is basically just this big database of all the companies in the United States, basically. And your job is to come in here and narrow down that list to what you want. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. If you notice over here, it shows a record count. So right now we are looking at 15 million companies. So that's obviously too many to contact. So we're going to see what we can do. And actually at first, we're going to make that actually a little bit bigger. And what the first choice we have to make is record type. We already have the verified businesses in there. That means that Reference Solutions has called them and they've done their checks on the company. So they are very good to go. But we could also choose this second one here. And we're going to include the unverified businesses. Reference Solution has maybe verified some things and maybe not others, or they might not be verified at all. And it may not be accurate, but you know, because we want to sell them something, it might be worth a shot to go and pull them into our list. So if you'll notice, by including those, we now have 59 million businesses we need to look through. That's a lot. So our job again is to come in and narrow that down to just what we want. And how do we do that? We come over here to the left side and we decide what we want to base our search on. How do we create this list? Company name, we don't have to worry about that. We don't really need to worry about the executives. You might, it depends on what your business is. But the first thing we will tend to do is come here to business type, and we're going to look at keyword / SIC code. So I'm going to click on that. Let me get my notes here to where I need them to be. Give me a second here. Okay. Okay. So what we are doing now, we're doing keyword SIC code. We are going to search all SIC codes. Okay, now you might not know what SIC code means. So it actually means standard industrial classifications. Probably most of y'all already know that because you probably had to sign up for a little tax thing, and you generally have to tell the government what your business does. And so we're going to go in and search by SIC code. If you don't know what that is, you can come here to search tips and click on that, and it will give you some information about what this is and what you're searching right in there. Okay, then I'm just going to close that up. Okay, so in our case, what we want to do right now is we want to search for childcare. We have something we want to sell to the childcare industry. Okay, so we're just going to type in childcare because this will do like a general keyword search. Instead of actually knowing that SIC code, you can do this. If you know the SIC code, yes, put that in, absolutely. But in our case, we don't. So we're just going to do it this way. We're going to search. And what it does is it gives us our results here. And it gives us, the codes here and tells us on the right side what these businesses do. So we are going to sell to childcare services. And if you notice, as I clicked on it, it came down here and put it in the selected area. And maybe I want to try some after school programs. I might be able to sell to them. And then maybe childcare centers equipment. I don't know. So you're just going to have to decide what your business does and who you are trying to sell to. And you just go through and pick those out. Okay, so once I have those selected, I can come up here to the right side where I have the 59 million businesses, and I want to update the count. Okay, this is much more reasonable. So now I have 253,000. Okay, great, but I still need to narrow it down a little bit more because that is still a pretty large group. So what I want to do is I want to come back over here to the left side, and now this time I'm going to look at geography. And I have several choices here. In this case, I'm going to choose the metro area. So I'm going to come down here under the metro area, and I want to do Plano because that's where I am. So I'm going to choose Texas, and I'm going to go look for Plano. Okay. Well, this is different. If you'll see, it goes from Plainview to Port Lavaca. Plano is not in there. And that is because I chose the metro area. And again, if you don't know what that is, if you can click on here on search tips, it will tell you that the metro area is the metropolitan statistical area. And it is defined by the Federal Office of Management and Budget, which means it is predefined. So you have to find out what your metro area is. Well, we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So you can look up Dallas, you can look up Fort Worth, but basically for us, it's Dallas. It ends up being called Dallas-Fort Worth.
Hey, Jen, if I can interrupt
Yes.
you just for a second,
Sure.
We have a question here, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I wanted to check with you first.
Okay.
They're asking what if they are competing with companies in China? Where could they find information for that? Because I believe Reference Solutions is only for the U.S. and Canada, correct?
Correct. I do not know about China at this point. I would have to do some research on that because I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have a database yet that searches globally for businesses.
No.
Only this one for the U.S. and China currently.
U.S. and Canada, right?
I mean, thank you. Canada, yes.
Yes. Yeah, we don't have anything that I know of. Yeah, I would probably end up having to send them to like a university library to see if they had somebody who has a good, like UT Austin that has like a strong business school. They might know where to go look for that.
Oh, great.
Their library's there. Yeah, sorry about that. I wish I could tell you, but unfortunately that it's not this. So we're going to continue on with our search here. Oh, okay. Bob had a note on this saying you might actually go talk to the Small Business Development Center They actually might have some solutions. That is a very good idea. And you can always email me. I'm Jennifer S. at plano.gov, and I'll be happy to get you all that information. It is through Collin College, but we're pretty sure it's through through Collin College. And but if you want to email me, I can get you that information directly. Okay, so we're going to go back here to this search, which is metro area. And again, this is Dallas Fort Worth. So we're going to update that count, and we're down to 5,000, 6,000 or so. And okay, so we're good with that, but we still want to narrow it down a little bit more. So let's see what our other choices are. We've got phone. That doesn't really apply to what we're doing. Business size might apply to what you're doing if you're interested in the number of employees or the sales volume. Sometimes that's good. I'm going to click on that, show you what the number of employees looks like. Now, ours are going to probably be kind of small since we're doing childcare centers, but we'll take any size. So if you're just going to choose all of them, then there's no point in doing this. But if you're going to choose a few, then there would be a point to that. I'm going to update that count and see how we are. Okay, so we're down to 3,000. That's actually pretty good. Okay, ownership. Ownership might be relevant to you. Some people want to just deal with headquarters. Some people might just want to deal with either public or private companies or government offices. There's a lot of choices there. You might be interested in their financial data. Maybe their credit rating or their business expenditures, you know, how much they might spend on accounting or legal or whatever might apply to you. And then maybe you decide, oh, that's not really what I want to do. So I'm going to come here and remove that instead. Okay. There might be some special selections that you might make that might apply to what you're trying to sell. But the real power here is in this exclusions area. Now, we did choose the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but we've decided that Fort Worth is a little bit too far to drive. So we're going to omit that city. So you come here and you take, you choose that. And then we're going to come in and put Texas in because we're in Texas. And you actually can enter the number here under, you can enter the name here under filter choices. So we want Fort Worth. So if I do FT, I don't get anything. Okay, so apparently they want me to spell out Fort, and then we'll get into Fort Worth. So there's some funny little things like that in this system. So if you don't get it one way, try it in a little bit different way, and you'll probably get what you're looking for. So in this case, we're excluding businesses in Fort Worth, and we're going to update the count there. Okay, so we're down to 2,000. So we're pretty happy with that. What do we do now? Now we go and find our list. So we're going to view those results. Okay. Let me go down on my notes, get my notes here. Okay. Okay, so we have 2,000 results. Okay. This does say something about 164 with email addresses. Just know that that's basically an advertisement for this company. Through this program, through the library, we don't have access to email addresses. So just don't expect that. Okay, so this gives you the list. We did see this list before when we looked up Highland Homes, and now it's for childcare centers. And what we want to do is we want to save this list. So we're going to pick all the ones on this page. So if you notice, I just clicked at the top there and it filled everything in. Then we're going to go to the second page. And we're going to click on that, and it briefly tells you that 50 records have been selected so far. Okay, so we're good there. And we've decided we think we want to print this. Okay, so we're going to come up here to the top. I'm going to click on print there. Oh, this is not good. Look at this. We've got the summary report, which is that general information on the front of the page. It's like their name and like their address and a couple of things there. But we really wanted to get down into that detailed report, and it's not available. And that is because if you see here, it says it's limited to 25 records for detailed and custom print options. So just realize there might be some restrictions in here because they're just protecting their database. So we're just going to go back here. Okay, so we want the 50. So we've decided now we're going to look at downloading this time. Okay, so we're going to come here to download. Let's look at that. Okay, we have a lot of choices here. On our first choice, we need to choose how we are going to download it, what we're going to download it to. Most people just choose this comma delimited. It will download then into a lot of different programs, especially Excel type of programs. It'll, you know, Google Sheets and all that. So you probably just want to leave it there at comma delimited. You can choose Excel or whatever else you might want. Then you'll come here to this part, which we could do the summary, gives you 17 data fields. You could also choose detailed, or else you could choose detailed, which includes all the data, which is a lot of data. Or what you probably really want to do is go here into custom and choose what fields you want. You can see all of the fields here on the left. And you can do it by subject. So if you just want detailed information on the company or the management or the corporate, you can choose that. They're going to go ahead and give you 8 of the fields over here on the side, but you can come in and you can decide that you want many, many more fields. And you just go through and you choose every field that you might possibly want. And there are so many. Mailing city, all different things. So whatever you choose, we chose 20. Whoops, let me come back here. Okay, and we would download the records. You can email them, but generally people will download them because you can do this at home. And if you notice here, it has downloaded them. And I could open up that and they would be in their own little columns. And then I could play around with them from there. Okay, if y'all have any questions, let me know. And we are going to go back. Okay, so let's say that instead of downloading them, you decided that you just want to save it because it's much easier to deal with that way. So you can come up here. We have 50 selected still, and we're going to go here to save the search. I'm going to click on that. Now we did sign out, so we're not signed in. So we do need to either create an account at this point if you don't have one, or sign in, and I'm going to sign in. Oops. I cannot type today, I'm sorry. Okay, so I signed in, and you can see that because it says sign out, but it didn't actually save anything. And that's a little tricky because when I first did this, I thought that it had saved it and it didn't. So if you do hit save search and you're not signed in, make sure you hit save search again. Okay, so we're going to save that search and we can call it whatever we want. Child care centers or whatever. I cannot type. Okay, there we go. Okay, your search has been successfully saved. Okay, great. Happy about that. So, where am I going? Okay, we're going to go, well, I'm a little lost because before, okay, there we go. Okay, so I just clicked there up on reference solutions and it brought me over here to this. So I'm very happy about that. Okay, so if you can see, we have child care centers here. And if you've done this class in the past, you will know that it used to automatically bring you to this, but now it doesn't. Okay, so we're back here to our saved lists. This is the list we just did. We had 2,000. I've done other lists in the past, of course. And so I could click on one of those lists, and then I could go back and change that information there, or manipulate it, or download it, or whatever I wanted to do. So those old lists are still available to you if you want them. And that's really nice to have. Okay, does anybody have any questions at this point? I should tell you that you are limited to 250 results for the download or the export. That's important to know. Okay, let me sign out of this and show you something else here. We're going to come back here to our available databases, and we are going to look at US consumers. And again, if you want more information on this database, actually, I'm going to come down here, sorry, to US movers, and you can go into more information. You can see what that is about here. I'm going to click on that. Okay,
and we have another question here.
Okay.
Is the export and download limit a daily or a monthly limit? Or is it just for each section?
It's for each section. Each time you do it, what you would do is you would download or export that 250, and then you would get out of the program. Well, you would go back to that. You would come back here to this page and basically do your search again. So it's not daily. You can continually do that, but they're just trying to protect their database, which makes sense. So that somebody can't download all, all of the 60 million businesses. Okay, I'm going to go back here into the US new movers and homeowners, US new homeowners databases. And we're here under quick search. Now we could look for somebody, or what we could do is we could come here to advanced search and do the same thing. So if you're looking for consumers, this is how you would look for consumers. We don't have that choice here of looking for the unverified. We just have the record count of the 15 million consumers. And then we'd come over here to our left side here, and we would choose what we wanted to base our criteria on to target these different consumers. What we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the map-based search. This is really fascinating. So if you click on that map-based search, you would open the map. Okay, and you have United States. So what you want to do is probably get a little bit closer to where you are or where you're targeting. And I'm going to do, I'm going to do the, sorry, my numlock was not on. Okay, I'm going to do PAR libraries area. So this is Plano, you can see that. And then I want to select my area. I have different choices here. My first choice is I can draw a shape. So I click on that and I say, I want to, do Arbor Hills way over here to here, to here, to here. I can make as many little reference points as I want. And then I double click when I'm finished, and it tells you in the shape that I have captured 2,000 people. And over here in the results, it also tells you how many people you've captured. And then we have define radius. So what we do on this one is you can tell it's telling you click a center point and drag mouse to make a radius. Okay, so we're going to click here and we're going to go out, and it makes a radius of that area. So there are 1,500 people in this area. So those are two different areas. Now let's try boundary select. What's that going to do? Oh, okay, let's see. We could do area code, which is a little odd these days. So you're probably going to pick zip codes. You might pick neighborhoods. You might pick metro areas. There's a lot of choices. And then but we picked zip codes. So we're going to choose like this zip code that has about 1,900 people in it. Let's try that zip code. That kind of overlaps a little bit, but that's okay. Where that has about 2,000 people in it. And oh, but wait a minute, we really don't want to overlap. So we need to get rid of that one. So if we come over here, we can see, oh, okay, we can just delete that. That's easy enough. And so that's where you're going to delete over there in that area. Okay, so we're done with that. So if you come over here, you can see where it says done or return to tools. So you got to be a little bit careful on this one because I tend to hit done and I'm not really done. I need to return to the tools. Okay, so that brings me over here. And we could also choose a drive route. So if you know you're going to go, you know, from this street to that street, you could choose that as one of your options. We're not going to do that. We're going to come back over here. Okay, so we're pretty happy with these results. Okay, we're going to now say that we're done. We're good with that. Okay, and if you see here what it has done, excuse me, it gave you the radii and the polygons and then the zip codes, which is what we chose. And so we can come over and we can update our count. And actually they had already done that. It gave us 5,000 people, almost 6,000 people. Then what we could do is we could come over here. And remember, these are new movers or new homeowners. And we could choose like maybe their housing type. Do we want people who live in multifamily? Do we want people who live in single family? It just depends on what you're trying to do. We might want people who have a particular home value. So we come down here and we choose whatever home values we want. You know, it's probably not going to be so dramatic as I've done here, but you're probably going to be a little bit more thoughtful on what you're choosing, but we can update our count here. So we've brought that down to 281 people. You might want an estimated age if your product, you know, targets younger people or older people or whatever. You might choose that. And this is like general knowledge about the consumers. They will give you what they know. I don't think that they make any kind of guarantees on how accurate the information is going to be, because things change and people don't always answer correctly. Okay, so then you can come down here to exclusions and you can omit things again. If you want to omit a particular metro area or state or carrier route or zip code, you can do that too. Now we have about 300 people and we're happy with that. So then we can go view the results. And this again gives us a little list, this time of people. And if you notice up here at the top, this is very important as a business owner to note that the telephone numbers displayed may be on a do not call list and should not be used for solicitation. You are responsible for the compliance with all federal, state, and local laws. Okay, so just be aware of that whenever you're doing the consumer information. So you can see here where some of this information is actually confirmed, some has not been confirmed, some is probable. So your information, you know, might vary a little bit. And again, you would be able to save the searches, print the searches, download. The information inside gives you their general information, and then it will give you some of the neighborhood information. So realize this is not necessarily specific to this person. It is general information about the neighborhood that they live in. And so we're going to go back and you could download, print, save. It'd be the same as what we did before. Okay. Did y'all have questions on that? I'm going to go back over here to all the databases. This time I'm going to go into consumers. Again, you might want to come in and look for yourself and see how that is. You can do, again, an advanced search and look for households that that you might want to sell something to. So You could do contacts. They're generally you're going to choose all contacts. I would think, but it just depends on what kind of business you have and what you're trying to sell to people. You might want to choose neighborhoods this time instead of one of the other choices like metro area. So in this case, we're going to do Texas. And we're just going to stick with Dallas-Fort Worth. Unfortunately, this sometimes takes a little bit long to come up. Okay, there we go. If you see that it will actually tell you different neighborhoods in the different areas of Dallas-Fort Worth. So I'm trying to think of it. Okay, so let's look here in Plano. Let's see if that will come up. You can always put something in there. Okay, so it did come up. So we have different Deerfields, and those are some neighborhoods here in Plano. So we're going to choose those, and we'll update that count and see what we get. Okay, so we have some nice accounts there. And then you can come over here. You could choose people based on their lifestyles. I would be a little bit careful on this one, on choosing the lifestyles. Play around with it because some information is not there, is what we noticed whenever we were looking ourselves up here. And so you might not capture all the people that you think you're going to be capturing. So I generally don't choose that, but again, that's based on what I'm looking for. But you could do consumer snapshots. So if you want people based on homeowner home value, might be appealing. So actually, no, we're doing Deerfield. Okay, so let me choose that, whatever you're choosing there. Maybe you want to choose how many years they've lived in the home. Maybe you want people who've been there for a while because you're trying to sell roofs or something. So whatever is working for you. Oh, and I have not updated the count, so let's update the count. So that's a pretty good list. And then you can go and view your results. Oh, this always does this to me. Let me go back. Update count. Okay. Oh, they're gonna make me do this. Don't do this. Okay. Okay. So sometimes that one works for me, and I'm sorry, sometimes it doesn't. It did not this time. So that is a consumer snapshot. Okay. Did y'all have any questions at this point? Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you here how if you have questions, you can come here and go into about and go here to help from a librarian. And you can do ask a librarian, or you can go into book a librarian. And this will be like a short question that you have for a librarian, and we'll get back in touch with you through email. The book a librarian is you can set up to talk with a librarian for 30 minutes, and we'll do that over Zoom. And then I also wanted to show you, if you haven't found this already, under About, Plano Library About. No, sorry.
And Jen, just
yes.
to throw in a little thing there for the book library, and we also can do just phone calls. So, you know, just in case you don't want to get on Zoom or you think it's something that we can talk to you about over the phone instead, we do have that option as well. It does not have to be on Zoom.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so we went back to planolibrary.org, and under Learn, if you see this Engage with Us, you can come over here And you can actually sign up to get the Check It Out newsletter monthly, and it will tell you about our different classes that we are holding. Or you can download our current brochure to find out the classes, and also with our social media here. Also on our page, our front page, planolibrary.org, at the bottom, we do have, or in the middle, I guess, we do have different classes and activities that we promote here. And you can go into that and view all of that and see the different classes that we're offering for the different days or for the month. Does anybody have any questions at this point? I'm so sorry that last one didn't work out for me, for us. If you have questions on that, you can always email me, or you can set up a book librarian and we can go over that in more detail and get that figured out for you. But if y'all don't have any more questions, I just want to thank you so much for coming to our class. I hope that was helpful. Please be sure to stay up to date with the library by following our Facebook page and by checking out our blog, which is Plano Library Learns, planolibrarylearns.org. It's a great resource to go and check out what we're doing. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next time.